This is a problem that you can stare at for a while and think, man, this should be easier than it is. And it really does turn out to be a relatively simple solution, but it takes a while to kind of really get your mind around what's happening. The most important piece of information that they've given you is that this point C is actually the midpoint of this rod that goes from A to B. That gives you a very important piece of information, because when this object or this drum rolls, this B is going to eventually hit the ground somewhere over here, and it's going to create the same concept that happened before. And the significant part about that is that because those lengths are the same and the radius of the circle is the same, you actually end up with the exact same type of triangle, or not really a triangle, the exact same angle, 30-degree angle. So that's the first relevant thing you have to do. So now we have an idea, and we're going to call this point E. What's going on here? But the hard part is defining how far apart are E and C. And if you just try to think about it, there's really not a good way to do it. But if you take a second and remember, what do we know about arcs? Well, arcs are always related to central angles. And so then you think, okay, that's good. I can start looking at central angles. And then it's very useful if I draw in this central angle. Now, if I recognize, I end up with two kites that are identical. So if I can find out what this angle is, and then I can find out what that angle is, then I can find out the angle I want, and I'm good to go. Well, finding out that angle is actually easier than it may seem like, because we have a theorem that says an angle outside of a circle made by two tangents is always equal to the difference of the arcs. And so I'm going to go ahead and erase some things here so we can see it. And if we let this arc be x, then this arc would be 360 minus x. And so you would do 360 minus x equals 30. If we solve that, that gets us negative 200 and, my bad, you got to multiply this times 1/2. That gets you negative 2x equals, we're going to multiply through by 2, so that gets us a 60. Subtract 360 and you get equals a negative 300, which means x equals 150. So by doing that, we found out that our arc x is 150. So when we go back and draw a picture like I had, this angle is 150, which means this angle is 150, which means from C to E is going to be 360 minus 300, which is 60 degrees. 60 degrees is actually 1/6 of the circle. Multiply 1/6 times 12 pi, and we get 2 pi, which is the correct answer. And so 2 pi is your correct answer. Again, it's all about finding those central angles and then applying them to the outside of the circle.